Oh my God, we're back again.
Yes, we are. You caught me mid snack.
I'm sorry. Well, it's 7 o'clock. We gotta start.
Yep. Oh, swallow before 7.
Yep. Hello, everybody, and good evening. I'm Cory.
He's not awake yet.
I'm not awake. Yeah, I got 3 hours of sleep last night, and then a 3-hour nap after work. I'm gonna take all of my sleeping in 3-hour chunks this weekend.
Yeah.
Just to keep up the pattern.
Sounds like a plan.
Hello, Bosco. Hello, Brian P. Welcome to
Hola.
the channel. Glad to have you.
If you haven't voted in our Discord poll yet, go
Yep.
do it.
There's still a little bit of time. We are just making sure to see if anybody manages to break that tiebreaker. Technically, there's really only 2 choices at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Your
Bosco.
classic
Snacks are good.
Your classic American voting system, right? Doesn't matter how many options there were. There really are
There's
only 2.
Apparently.
But it's okay. I've got caffeine. We're gonna wake up.
Yes. Do the whole, face slap, shake a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get ready to go.
Yep. Hello, Casey. Welcome on Twitch. I know you're not on the Discord. Oh, I think we got one pulling ahead. Here we go. I know you're not on Discord, but we're voting tonight on different monsters.
Which to paint.
Technically, you can see them in front of you. Yep. One of these lovely gentlemen.
One of these lovely ladies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, ladies.
Except for the troll. Well, I guess.
Yeah,
troll
no,
can be-
yeah.
Sure.
They're all lovely ladies.
Yeah, they're all lovely ladies.
Inclusion. But I think hot off the presses. Hot off the presses.
Casey, what do you vote for? Hydra or Owlbear?
That's true. You just want the tiebreaker again, don't you?
It depends on what she goes for. Yeah, see,
Hydra.
there's
That
eight
is
for
our
Hydra.
clear and away winner now. It's got 2 more votes than the last
So
one.
the rest of you,
Yeah, don't care about those. Let's take a look at this wonderful Hydra that we are going to be painting tonight. We've used this multiple times.
yes,
I love this Hydra. He is wonderful. Or she is wonderful. Excuse me.
she loves you too.
Yep.
Except for that one. That one does not love you.
No, I hate that one.
The other ones are
Yeah.
fine.
That one's a weird one.
We have used this. Let's see. Once in our Little Hopes game,
Yep.
where we tried to drown a Hydra, but it didn't work.
Nope.
Surprisingly, Hydra can breathe underwater.
Yeah,
So
they're aquatic.
yeah, who knew?
And then this was an event that you could have gotten in Hollowbend
Right.
Keep, by the way.
Yes.
There was a glade that it was basically covered with a silent spell and a sanctuary spell etched into 2 rocks, and there was a Hydra in kind of the murky water beneath. And if you found the silent spell first and broke it, you might be able to see the Hydra and get out of there. But if you broke the sanctuary spell by accident first, because they weren't clearly marked,
Yeah.
the Hydra would attack while you guys couldn't speak to one another.
Oh, cool. I like it. Brian P says, 6 heads, 3 necks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's correct, because if you cut a Hydra's head off down here, you get extra necks. If you cut it up here, closer to the top, the necks split from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just basic magic.
Hydra
biology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hydrobiology.
Hydrology. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it is. This is the hey Teal, welcome. Teely?
Healy?
Teely.
Yeah. Well, glad you can make it.
Yeah. Are these the Spice Girls? Can we call this Hydra the Spice Girls?
Sure. Baby Spice,
Mhm.
Scary Spice,
Mm-hmm.
Bitey Spice,
Bitey. I call the big one Bitey.
Dragon Breath Spice.
Ainor
this
Special
one is
Spice.
Ainor Special Spice.
Posh.
Posh Spice. Yeah,
No,
that's the
'cause
one you don't like.
That's the one I don't like, yeah.
that one right
I
there.
don't like being posh.
Gravy Spice.
Gravy. I got 3 hours of sleep, and I'm heading back into work after the stream to rearrange the back stock inventory. God, that's 300 pounds of barrels of wire.
That sounds terrible.
Holy crap. Well, I'm
Hey,
glad that we can
yeah.
at least give you a little bit of fun before your work evening.
Gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pay the
So-
bills.
So do you want a reference of a Hydra pulled up by
Sure.
chance? At least like the 5th edition Hydra?
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I'm trying a new paint method. I've been seeing this all over YouTube and Patreon and stuff, and it's been nicknamed the slap chop method. It's been around for centuries, really. And so what it is you do black primer, so it's with the dark part, and then you do a light gray or medium gray dry brush over the whole thing, and then you do a white dry brush over the whole thing. In this case, I actually used antique parchment. It's kind of an off-white, but it works really well for dry brushes. And then you use contrast paints or speed paints over it, because all of your highlights, midtones, and base is all already defined with this and ready to go. So you can just put it over there if you want.
I'm just gonna modify the window.
Oh,
we don't need to see ourselves.
Yeah, we do. I need to make sure I'm in frame with this. Otherwise, I'll be painting back here.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, I'll put it over here then.
Professional again. So yeah, I'm gonna give that a try and see if it's any faster. It's supposed to be pretty fast. I've seen people do they can paint Space Marines in 20 minutes. And yeah, Tinker Joe, just acrylic paints. These ones are the cheap ones I use just for base coating besides the primer. Apple Barrel, they're 50 cents at Walmart. Dirt cheap, work great, very durable. If you're trying to do more detailed work, you have to thin them down a little bit, 50-50 with water. And then as far as doing the color, I'll do contrast paints just because I'm lazy and I just want to get it done, right? And if I can get this done, then we can go for our number 2 winner.
Oh, yeah. Do the owlbear.
But now I got to choose a color.
Hang on. We've got a question in the chat here. Question from my roommate, Scott. Can I have one of the spaghetti bowls for dinner? We're actually we're going to go grab dinner after the stream.
But if you don't want to wait, sure.
Yeah, but yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Good question. Good question.
Great question.
Good question. Yeah.
Good question. Yeah, we'll do
Hydra. Do Hydras have mutations like trolls when they regen their heads? I don't believe so, but
that's a cool freaking idea.
I was gonna ask, how do we pump up the Hydra and make them cooler? And I think that is a really cool place to start.
Yeah.
So first of all,
because I look at a Hydra and it kind of comes from the same, feels like it comes from the same family as a Behir, right? Or so, and Behirs have all kinds of different lightning breath and acid breath and things like that.
They're just lightning.
Lightning? I thought there was forest Behirs that do different stuff.
There may have been in other editions, but we haven't had any other
in 4th edition.
Yeah.
Take a drink.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm just gonna yell out 4th edition every time.
Give him 5 breath weapons, or 6 breath weapons. This is a lady. Thank you very much.
So this one's got this this one's got this almost armor plating here on the back, and I'm gonna do that in dark green, and then I'm gonna do the rest of it in a lighter green.
Okay. Now, one thing that let's talk about why we're specifically asking people what they want to see painted tonight, and talking about painting some rather basic monsters, as it were, right? Because you said that we've had a lot of interest in people just wanting to see just kind of the basic monster manual stuff and just kind of what we do with it. So I thought we would take the opportunity to kind of paint one on stream to kind of give everybody an idea of what typically you see with a Hydra, rather than our usual crazy, wacky ones.
So Cory and I have been playing D&D for a very, very long time. 3 decades almost combined, if we combine them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we've played nearly all the classic monsters in a monster manual. We've done orcs, we've done goblins, we've done beholders, we've done mimics, we've done owlbears, but I realize after watching back some stuff, we do a lot of weird stuff now.
Yeah.
And part of that is because we've
done it.
Yep. But I feel like maybe we need to go back to basics occasionally, especially because not everyone has. And
Joe, welcome, and yes, I'm scribbling notes as well. Brian also said that if you take a Hydra head and stick it on a troll body, does it make a Hydra troll hybrid akin to a Yuan-Ti?
Ooh, or what if you take a troll head and stick it onto a lopped off Hydra neck? Does it create really create a head with like extra.
I like the idea that like troll regeneration is so great that it will literally attach itself to any body part like that has an open wound or anything.
Yeah.
Like, don't get a paper cut and pick up a troll arm because you will have
a troll arm.
a troll arm sticking out of your hand. Weird stuff is the best stuff. Yeah, that is true. Like,
we love. Yeah, don't get us wrong. Love weird stuff, but not everyone has done everything, and I kind of feel like sometimes just pulling some of the classics from the Monster Manual is really fun, especially for newer players.
and not to mention we don't have all of the classics painted yet.
Yeah.
And getting the entire Monster Manual
Done and painted.
done and painted would be
cool.
nice. That way I can be like, oh, any monster that I need to pull from the Monster Manual is already painted and ready to go,
Yep.
or at least some of them are. You know, like at least one. Although probably you should do more than just one.
Yeah.
Another Hydra, please. But
More
we'll
Hydras?
we'll find another
We'll find
Hydra,
some cool Hydras.
just in case we ever have an encounter with two Hydras.
Well, if you cut a Hydra in half,
It just creates two new Hydras.
yeah. If you don't burn it,
I'm actually surprised there's not a lot of Hydras in media. It is a very like unique and cool monster.
yeah.
But you don't see it very
it's
often.
Very much like a Greek monster, right? In Greek mythology and lore. So
Yeah.
maybe people don't feel like they can be in fantasy without it being like Greek themed. You
Well,
know?
that's funny because like people love using minotaurs all the time. They're
Yeah,
Greek, you know.
sure.
It's one of those things where it's like I've seen it once on Hercules.
Mhm.
Cost too much to put in movies. That probably makes
That's
sense.
probably true.
Yep.
Hasn't there been a live action Hydra? I swear there's been a live action Hydra.
So
I'm thinking of
we had the
something.
one from Hercules, which was kind of CG animated,
Mhm.
which almost feels like live action in your animated movie. And then I don't know. What are there? You know what? I was gonna.
List time.
Yep, I was gonna talk about. Hydras and kind of go over the entomology. I will, but Hydras in movies. Oh, there's the one in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's the live action one you're thinking of.
Oh well.
But the second
s-
Percy Jackson movie had a traditional Hydra with regeneration.
Maybe
Ooh.
that's what I'm thinking.
Ooh, you've seen that?
I don't know if I've seen the second one. I think I've seen the first one for sure. Doesn't that have Nick Cage in it?
No.
I think it's something else.
Hercules had a Hydra in it at one point. At least a flashback
Oh,
to a Hydra.
Yeah, the Rock Hercules.
Yeah, the Rock Hercules.
That's right.
And then we've got also Hercules in the Maze of the Minotaur,
Mm-hmm.
Hercules and the Amazon Women, and then Jason and the Argonauts also had a Hydra in it. In fact, it's displayed prominently on the cover.
Motion, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's all claymation stuff.
Yeah.
List. It was a short list. That was it.
Yeah. Again, not many people do Hydras in theater for some reason. Theater movies.
Yep.
So 6 of one, half a dozen of another.
Yeah, there's not too many. There's not too many other things. They did list. Ooh, here's a B movie with it in it.
It's in the B movie?
It's in the B movie.
What?
He goes, "Do you like jazz?" And then he gets eaten by a Hydra. The movie is called Hydra: The Lost Island from 2009.
Okay.
It's a supernatural / legend.
You
movie.
cut off one part of the island and 2 more parts of the island grow.
It definitely has like a sci-fi budget. Like here's the image of the Hydra itself. Like
yeah.
like that is definitely a sci-fi budget, and I kind of want to watch it
Yeah.
because I'm a sucker for terrible movies. I saw one that we need to look into called Shark Side of the Moon,
Oh yeah.
and I want to like find out what the heck that
just for
is.
The pun. The pun alone. Is
Yeah.
the pun alone like makes it good for me.
Jason and the Argonauts sounds like a 50s band name. Kind of, yeah. I actually have never seen it. I probably should.
I know the skeletons from it are always praised as like classic skeleton monster, movie magic stuff.
Yeah.
I've always seen clips of them, and I'm just like, oh, it's stop motion, and it's not a lot of stop motion.
Mm-hmm.
It's Cory and I made it in an evening stop motion for a commercial for Dr. X or whatever.
Yeah.
Chaos X.
Yep. The headline for Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a hydra is a reptilian horror
Hydra.
with a crocodilian body and multiple heads on long serpentine necks. Although its heads can be severed, the hydra magically regrows them in short order. A typical specimen has 5 heads. At the dawn of time, Tiamat, the queen of evil dragons, slew a rival dragon god named Lernia. Lernia? Lernia? Lernia. Lernaea.
Yeah, that's
Lernia.
That's our brother-in-law's part of his name, Learning Hydra.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shoot, I think he's in our Discord.
Yeah.
Say hi to him if you see him.
I don't think he's in our Discord.
Ah.
Yeah. And cast her blood across the multiverse. Each drop that fell upon a world spawned a multi-headed hydra, consumed by a hunger as great as the fallen god's hatred. Great champions are known to test their mettle against these fearsome creatures. That's some great lore, first of all. Like, that is the classic type of mythological lore that I love. Mm-hmm. Just like, oh yeah, the 2 gods fought, one killed the other, spread its blood across the multiverse, and every single drop became a hydra. It's like, how many drops of blood does a god have, you know? Can a god bleed? Should a god bleed?
If they get killed by a Tiamat, yes.
Yeah. Also, you gotta wonder, like, how big drops of blood. Like, if I were going with that, I'd be like, the smaller drops created smaller versions of hydras, you know, maybe? Mm-hmm. With, like, 1 or 2 heads that had to grow over time. Like, yeah, it's crazy. Let's see. I grew up on those movies with the stop animation. I mean,
we technically did too.
Yeah, we were in the tail end of that as well. But yeah, they are like they look a little cheesy now, but they don't look terrible.
Yeah, right? I think it's cool. I think whoever figured out, like, hey, let's just take a bunch of pictures together and slowly move armature and models, mm-hmm. you know, picture by picture to make them look like they're in motion. Like, that's like the first, you know, precursor to CG, right?
Yeah. I'd like the link to that lore. Corey, did you just Google it? This is directly from the Monster Manual, actually. This is the D&D Beyond version of it, but it's right in your Monster Manual. Because they do actually have descriptions in there. A lot of people just use it for the stat blocks. I know I do. But there's actually a lot of really good stuff in there.
There's other stuff in those books?
If you look up D&D Hydra, though, I bet you could find a Forgotten Realms wiki page, which will have a lot of information, a lot more history in that.
It'll usually
in fact, we might try and find that later, and then I can post the link. How many drops does it take to get to the center of a god? 1, 2, 3. They have an everlasting hunger. The rapacious and gluttonous monster, or a rapacious and gluttonous monster, a hydra snatches and tears apart its prey in a frenzy of feeding. When a hydra has cleared a territory of food and driven off any creature smart enough to avoid it, it moves on to seek its meals elsewhere. A hydra's hunger is so great that if it can't feed, it might turn against itself, its heads attacking each other as the creature eats itself alive.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, a little Ouroboros going on there. Yeah. I love it. Hey, no, you're not an idiot. It's fine. Again, like, it's very easy to overlook the Monster Manual stuff.
I wasn't saying, oh, there's other stuff in it because of you. I was making just a dumb joke about all of us seem to just go into the place we want and ignore the rest of it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hydras are natural swimmers dwelling in rivers, along lake shores, in ocean shallows, and in wetland bogs. A hydra rarely requires shelter from the elements, so it doesn't normally have a lair. Only in colder climes are hydras drawn to the protection of sheltered caverns and ruins. When a hydra sleeps, at least one of its heads remains awake and alert, making the creature difficult to catch by surprise.
No surprise rounds.
Yep.
Love it.
So I would, so obviously, like, you've got, it can hold its breath for up to an hour, which means drowning a hydra is nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Also, do you have to drown every head?
Yeah.
Or, because, like, if, like, 5 heads were below the water, could, like, one, like, come up and for all of them?
You got to be a creature with lots of arms, or strong enough to take them all down at once while the rest of them are biting you, right?
Yeah. I think, does it keep its regen if it eats itself alive? I don't...
Probably to a bit, but it probably eats too fast.
Yeah, it doesn't have its typical regen. So basically, when it takes 25 or more damage in a single turn, one of its heads dies, and if all of the heads die, the Hydra dies. At the end of its turn, it grows 2 heads for each head that's died since its last turn. So it basically will start, like, eating itself, growing more heads, and those heads will also be hungry and start eating itself. And it makes... Hydra in D&D 5th edition mechanically makes a bite attack for each head that it has when it makes the multi-attack action. So Hydra in a feeding frenzy against itself will exponentially keep eating at its heads until it eventually kills itself before the end of a turn, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Are Hydras edible because that's unlimited Hydra steaks and burgers? The Order of the Stick comic has a really fun joke about that, where they basically chop a Hydra's heads so many until it loses blood flow and falls unconscious, and they leave it there, and some goblins find it, and they start a barbecue business by chopping off the heads and grilling them up, which is great.
Anything is edible if you're brave enough.
It's true. It doesn't have anything in here about it having any sort of toxic skin or anything.
Yeah, it's not like a basilisk where, if you get its, if you eat its eyeball, you might get turned to stone.
Hydras can be worse than a regular dragon. I posit that dragons are only good as ambush predators. That's what I was telling Scott the other day. Is
they're great. Flying.
Do you want to show what you've got done with that off, or do you want to wait for that?
The big one?
Yeah.
We can get it later.
Okay. But basically we were talking about dragons and talking about how, like, they need to be mobile around a battlefield because, like, flying and doing the whole breath weapon attack is what makes them truly dangerous killers, right? Like, when you get them on the ground and a party surrounds them, they can go down pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're playing a dragon that's not like a whelpling, like maybe an adult dragon or something, and you're not having it take off into the air to start doing like fly-by breath attacks, like, I feel like you're playing it a little wrong. I kind of wish the monster manual gave you more tactics for stuff.
Yeah, so it doesn't... I could get the tactics book if we wanted to read through that. The monsters know what they're doing. If you want me to grab that really quick.
It's just over in the other room.
Oh, that's right, you have one. Just a moment here.
Switch me back. Cool. Yep. Yeah, so I'm doing the dark on the back here. I'm hoping that the front looks really good too. But you can kind of see, like, it's got a little bit of highlights in there. And granted, this one was one I printed on the filament printer, so it's not as smooth. If you look closely, like, at its tail, it's got like topographical map style stuff, and that's because I didn't know about layer height and stuff when I was printing, and so I printed it in a kind of low resolution, but it should turn out okay still.
I'm glad that I got replaced temporarily.
Yes.
Hey, buddy, how's it going? He has been a little bugger on our recordings the past couple of weeks. Can you down?
Yeah, he got a haircut, now he's got a bunch of energy.
Yep. I think I've just been replaced, though. Can you get down?
Shut. Get down.
Good. There we go.
We have food, that's why.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, so this is The Monsters Know What They're Doing by Keith Amon. I got it for Christmas. Scott gave it to me because it's supposed to give you, like, really cool monster tactics, and it has helped my monster tactics and everything going forward. It basically has most of the monster manual in this one, if not all of it. And then he's got another one called More Monsters Know What They're Doing, and that covers things like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes and stuff in there.
And then he's got a third book called Live to Tell the Tale. A third book. It's not number 3 in the set, but it's all about player tactics.
Yep.
PC tactics. I recommend it. It's actually pretty good.
And he also has a blog that you can check out. That's where he posted these originally. So I'm not sure if they're all still on there, but
I wanted to support him. I also wanted the books, and they're actually really good reads.
Yeah.
They're not just boring, like, textbook lectures or anything like that. They're very, very well written, in my opinion.
Yeah. Read the whole book to us. I think that's, like, copyright infringement, so I probably can't.
I've seen people read, like, Goosebumps and stuff on YouTube, and I don't know if it's just because it's Goosebumps and it's kind of old, but
Mm-hmm.
I
Now-
thought it was kind of funny. Like, it was mainly for, kids, but
Yeah. Now, he does say in the beginning of his book that not everything in here has an entry, because there's some monsters that are just so basic that they literally are like one note, right?
they're just basic bitches.
Mm-hmm. So there may not be a Hydra in here, but I doubt that that's going to be the case. Now, here's what I'm going to say first, because I have predictions based on what I know about this book and just kind of like general ideas myself.
Mm-hmm.
A Hydra is fueled by hunger, so it is going to focus on one prey, and it is going to try and again devour it in a feeding frenzy.
Yeah.
As a GM, you might want to make that the tank, just because they can hold off. Now it gets a free reaction, or it gets an extra reaction for each head it has. So do not like move away from a Hydra, right? Because it will opportunity attack you.
Yeah.
But
Unless
if
you have tons of AC or
I would say that every time one of your players attacks it within melee or within reach distance, it will use one of its bite attacks to snap back in defense. That's how I would kind of play a Hydra if I was just running a basic Hydra encounter. Oh, I've lost you guys. My internet's spotty. Oh no. Well, hopefully you can come back, Joe. Yep. Always fun.
Come back to us.
So, a straightforward brute with an extraordinary strength and constitution, the Hydra is extremely stupid and indiscriminate when it comes to target selection. It also has one method of attack, one bite for each of its multiple heads, of which it initially has 5. Running a Hydra encounter is primarily a matter of accounting, tracking how much damage has been done to it, whether any of that was fire damage, and how many heads it has at the moment, since A, destroying one head without cauterizing it causes 2 to sprout in its place, and B, it gets an additional opportunity attack for every extra head. The only question you have to answer round by round is where the Hydra is going to position itself. The answer is wherever it can attack as many targets as possible, up to the number of heads it has. In other words, if possible, a 5-headed Hydra will try to position itself where it can reach 5 targets. A 7-headed Hydra will go where it can attack as many as possible, up to 7, and so on. Okay, so he goes he goes the exact opposite direction of spreading the attacks out to give your players a little bit more to worry about, right?
Well, and it makes sense because each one of the heads, like if they're semi-independent, they're all going to be trying to go for their own meal, and so rather than fight each other for the meals,
they're just going to go.
They're just going to be like, let's just position the body where we can get the most yummies.
Yeah, its heads have a reach of 10 feet, so it doesn't immediately have to be adjacent to the target. A target is still within reach if there's a single square hex between the target and the Hydra, even if there's another creature in that square hex. Because of the Hydra's height, an interposed medium-sized ally does not give a humanoid creature any cover. So that's also worthy of note, is it doesn't have to try and position itself vertical or horizontal or parallel with a line of people. Welcome back, Joe. It's not smart enough to avoid opportunity attacks, so a Hydra begins its turn by moving to the optimal attacking location within 30 feet, then attacking with every head. It attacks every opponent within the reach of one head, and if it has one or more heads left, it attacks its biggest opponent one more time, then its second biggest opponent, and so on.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
I like
basically
the, idea that
the most meat.
Yeah, I like the idea that it doesn't give a crap about opportunity attacks, because it doesn't understand them. Right?
Yeah.
It just is like, food, I'm going there,
Exception. Anytime an enemy does enough damage to cut off one of its heads, if 2 grow in its place, both of those heads attack that enemy. Ooh.
That is a lot of accounting.
That is a lot of accounting. Hydras have advantage on saving throws against a variety of conditions, and as repeatedly noted, they're morons, so they don't know a spellcaster from any other walking Slim Jim, nor can they tell a magic weapon from any other kind of weapon except by how much it hurts.
Walking Slim Jim.
A Hydra is seriously wounded when it is reduced to 68 hit points or fewer, at which point it doesn't flee, exactly, but it does retreat. It uses the disengage action, not as a thoughtful tactic, but as an instinct, snapping and feinting at its enemies with its jaws, and backs away to the nearest body of water. Upon reaching water, it dives and swims away. And that's another thing that this book has. It's like, the monsters aren't just going to let you drop them to 0 hit points.
Yeah.
They will retreat if they can. If they have the instinct to do so. So I like that as a tactic. Basically, it's just trying to get away after at that point. And then your players can go after it so we can get experience. And you have to remind them that just defeating the Hydra counts.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, you know, you have to remind them, hey, we're on milestone this time.
Yep.
And they go, doesn't matter, kill the thing.
And then as far as players go, again, I would recommend if unless you are willing to provoke opportunity attacks, do not. If you have like a really big armor of Agathis and you want them to hit you multiple times, or you want them to hit you, like it works kind of well.
Sillin worked well because he's a rogue, and I was able to dive in, bonus disengage, run away, and not get attacked a bunch. Which was
Now, one of the things that's interesting about the Hydra in 5th edition is that it's just if it takes 25 more damage in a single turn. The head dies, right?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not
it's
not
just-
a
The thematic part is you just say like, oh, you're able to chop that head off because it snapped
yeah.
at you.
And that's the thing is like you can tell your players like yes, you can hold back and not chop off that head on your turn, but make them cap the damage. Be like your damage will be capped at 25 or at 24 damage.
Oh.
Because you're holding back in order to whittle this
Yeah.
thing down.
Okay, and then that puts it in the player's hands of, do you want to limit yourself and not get extra heads by not getting 25 damage, which that's a theme in Tales of Aneria, 25 damage. so-
25, yep. Brian has another great suggestion here of if you cut a Hydra in half vertically, does the cut then turn into a maw of its own, gaping dragon form, of its own, a la gaping dragon form Dark Souls. And I like the idea that like it gets cut down the middle, magic causes that maw to become like basically like a Sarlacc pit,
Yeah.
and all of the other heads get immediately like dominated, and they just start like throwing people, like grappling and
Into
throwing
them.
people into that maw,
Yeah.
right, for food, meat to the maw, as it were.
Yes, meat to the maw.
You can't sneak up on Hydra,
Yeah.
or you have a hard time. It has advantage on passive perception. It has a pretty good passive perception at least. It has really good saving, and I mean, this is kind of prepping players a little bit, but whatever. It's got good saving throws against being charmed, blinded, deafened, frightened, stunned, and knocked unconscious. Because
It's got 5 different heads to choose from.
Yep.
Oh no, that one's charmed. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I would actually play it though. If your charm succeeds, the whole Hydra isn't charmed. Just a head or two is charmed. So
I
it
would-
loses some of its.
I would play it. I would play it the opposite way. The whole Hydra. If you succeed, the whole Hydra is stunned. If you fail, one of the heads is stunned. Or you
That's interesting.
or as the DM, I make another basic saving
Ooh,
throw
maybe
against one of
it's,
the heads to see if that head.
What about
Get stunned.
What about based on the spell level? Level 1 charms 1 head.
Oh yeah.
Cast it at 3. Does
And
3.
again, I would do the disadvantage saving throw for the whole Hydra, and if it failed, then I would pick one or two,
Right.
heads depending on like the spell level. I don't think I'd do 1-to-1 because otherwise it's just like making at level 5 it's just like making an extra saving throw. But then I would just do a regular saving throw against that head and say,
okay.
yeah,
I like that.
just to give him a little bit of like, oh yeah, you did manage to like clock one head and it looks like it's listing. So, and it might not even be a full stun, but it might be like disadvantage on its next attack or something, just to, because I know that like spending a spell slot for a domination spell or a charming spell of some kind definitely feels bad when it fails.
Right.
It feels awful.
Yeah.
And I get
Or-
that that's
or
the risk of
banishment,
taking those. Yeah.
Like you spend like, oh right, a level 3 spell slot for banishment, and then it fails, and you're like, well, dang.
Yeah.
That was level 3. That I could've
Obviously,
used for something else.
obviously the big thing is fire
Yeah.
against Hydras,
Yeah.
because it regains 10 hit points for each head that regenerates. Yeah. But it doesn't regenerate any heads if it has taken fire damage.
Yeah, like a troll.
Yep.
Like troll.
Yeah, Hydras are really cool. I love them. I think they're a really underutilized monster just because they are kind of basic. People want to have these really cool encounters with crazy things that do weird magic stuff, and sometimes it's just cool to call the big one Bitey, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. A pet Hydra.
Yeah, a Hydra.
Running into a guy that has out in the woods that has one. Sorry, I didn't mute my phone.
How dare you, sir? We are a professional stream.
Yeah, totally professional. I lost which head I was working on there for a second.
I'm eating you talk.
Uh,
Never mind. I got it.
Yeah, don't put me on the spot like that.
I'm having a bit of a crisis, Scott.
Okay.
So
This is also therapy 101
Mm-hmm.
during this. So.
Yep, it's a D&D crisis still.
Yes,
So, we are getting ready to start a campaign with the group. Dallin is running the pre-made adventure of Into the Abyss.
Out of the Abyss.
Or Out of the Abyss. Sorry, Out of the Abyss.
Into the Abyss is just out.
It's the prequel. And so I have the opportunity to create a character. And I thought it was going to be pretty easy. I had this cool idea. I just wanted to play like a very simple, very basic monk. And then I started going through
how wrong you were.
I started going through the monk subclasses, and there are 5 that interest me. 4 that interest me.
Okay.
Right? And each of them, and it's not a matter of like, it's one character with the same concept. It's 4 distinct character concepts. Oh. Technically, one of them can be adapted for 2. So I've got a Way of the Mercy monk, which is like healing and whatnot, right? Way of the Open Hand, which is just like your classic kung fu fighter with like they just have really solid abilities and such, and I really like the aesthetic of it. There is, and those 2 can be like the same kind of specific character that I have in mind. There is a Way of the Ascended Dragon that I was thinking of doing some sort of like blue dragonborn monk with, and because you get like extra breath weapon stuff, and
I actually was thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder if Cory's gonna go dragonborn because you have been mentioning that. You've been converted.
I've been turning. Heroes never die. Way of the Mercy monk.
Because you've been converted into liking dragonborn more.
And so what I was going to do is I was going to do like a blue dragonborn, and I was going to have her raised, or not raised, but basically trained by a brass dragonborn, or a brass dragon, like a full brass dragon, which is a lightning dragon, right? Which goes well with her. And then she was going to use lightning mostly, and her quarterstaff was going to be capped to look like a lightning rod.
Okay.
Like, that was kind of the aesthetic that I was going for there, and I like it. Ascended Dragon Hydra theme. Ooh. And now, see, okay, thanks, Brian. Now I have another different characterization. Because the other one that I was going to go for was the Way of the Astral Soul, which gives you basically, like, eventually it gives you a full astral body, that kind of a visage that covers over yours, right?
Right.
And what I was going to do originally is I was going to do that they were, like, they were either cursed by, or they were the child of a fae known as the Grinning Man, that is like a jack-o'-lantern, right? And so the hands, the spectral hands that appear around you would be like flaming orbs. The visage would be like a pumpkin jack-o'-lantern head that was grinning, and then like a vine-like body. But now I'm kind of thinking hands could be hydra heads, and it could be like a hydra. Oh, okay, this might win out, actually. Now that we've been talking about hydras, that might win out. Joe says, I don't know if you guys saw the picture I posted on Discord, but the painters are supposed to start next week. Yeah, I did see the picture. Yeah. It looks good so far.
Yeah, looking good. Come along. I've got, just side note, I've actually, the next 2 weekends are nothing but finish the basement bathroom, get all the tile done, and get it 100% finished.
I think a great homebrew class would be a Way of the Hydra monk, where they... I'm going to.
Write it down.
I'm going...
Write it down.
Like right now?
Right now. Put it on, be right back, and write it down.
Yeah. Quick, patent pending. It would be really cool to be like, the more damage you take on your turn, maybe you like regenerate key points or something like that, or you can have like extra reactionary strikes by spending a key point.
Extra strikes based on how much damage.
Better put me in your footnotes, Corey. Oh yeah, I will.
Yeah, it'll be like this was recommended on stream. Can't remember who. Kidding.
Random D&D
No,
ideas.
we like to give credit where credit's due.
Do. I didn't mean that to match you saying do. I was just thinking.
Do.
Homebrew, a subclass.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go. I think for a lighter green underneath. Corey, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea.
What one should we choose though?
So looking at the Hydra on D&D 5th edition, which is kind of what we want to go for, right? Is a little bit more of that. Kind of that plague, and you can put it on to show everybody. Thinking that.
Yeah.
Any other opinions on
This
better
one,
green?
I think so. I did this green right here. It's really dark, but I'm thinking that one to do a good contrast between the two of them. And then of course in their mouths they'll be pink and stuff. But yeah, plague bear's flesh. Oops, I broke something. Oops.
Oopsie poopsie.
Oopsie doopsie. I
Okay.
did not mean to.
I've got that written down. We have the Hydra, not monkey, monk.
Monk.
Come on.
Monkey. Monkey.
Beacons.
Haven't
Key.
you ever wanted a monkey?
Monkey. Casey did that one earlier today.
Oh my god.
What about a blue? Says Casey. You want to take a look at a blue?
Green and blue. I don't know.
They're not typically complementary colors.
Yeah.
Purple.
They're pretty
Purple
close.
is still like that preference
I
there.
think I want to stay with the green for the belly.
Sorry, I'm still writing some notes down. Does more attacks.
This is our life. We'll be in the middle of doing whatever, and Corey and I will be chatting about something, and all of a sudden one of us will just stop mid-sentence and sit there and think for a sec, and then pull out our phones and... Because we were talking about something that was maybe not even game-related, but it triggered like a memory or something, and we're like, oh, yep, gotta do that.
Last night it was talking about boulettes, and then I went, what about a humpback whale-sized boulette? But like it was kind of like a whale, right?
Yeah. But we've been talking about other stuff too. We've just been talking about like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to the birthday party and we're gonna go do this and oh, and I heard this funny story about such and such and oh, hold on, let me write something down. I just saw something in the game in my head. Okay, I'll do a little bit on the tail.
Just to see how it looks. Yeah. Ooh.
This tail's got like a...
How many calories does a whale-sized boulette eat? I don't think that specifically what I had in mind wasn't that it ate meat, but that it would like come up from underground enough to lift its kind of, again, it had those, what do you call them on whales? The balines. It would lift and open its balines and just consume an entire farm field, and then submerge itself back into the ground. So you have to still fight the boulette because it's destroying farms, but it doesn't. I mean, obviously it doesn't discriminate, and if animals get caught in there, they just get eaten
They
too.
just get consumed, just like when a whale filter feeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Picks up. Yeah, I like that. I think I like that.
Oh, we'll switch over here. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 coats to make it a little bit darker too.
But yeah, so I've been having a hell of a time trying to figure out which monk to do.
And I haven't even picked a class yet.
Yeah.
So.
You were kind of waiting to see if Preston was going to go bard, weren't you?
I have never played a bard.
Yeah.
Have I?
No.
No, I have never played a bard.
No.
I have played every other class.
Have you?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I have.
Okay, let's run them down. Artificer,
Yes.
obviously. Barbarian.
Multiple times.
And again, we're not just talking 4th edition or 5th
Right.
edition here. Sometimes this is a
Sometimes
5th
it's 4th.
edition. Yeah, or a 4th edition. Ugh, I'm tired. Forgive me. Bard, no. Fighter?
Yes, I have. I played a level 19 fighter, and I believe I played a lower level one too.
Cleric, you have. You've played a druid, at least for a one-shot. Have you played a monk? Oh yeah, Bolt was originally a monk in 4th edition. Paladin?
Yes.
Who was your paladin?
When we were testing D&D next.
Oh yeah, we had like one game where you played a
A
paladin.
couple games, actually.
Yeah. Ranger? Yeah, Tavish.
Yep.
Rogue, Cylin. Sorcerer is from
well,
4th edition.
Quinn.
Yeah.
So I haven't played a 5th edition sorcerer, which was on my list of maybe check
Potentials.
them out. Yeah.
Warlock, you did play a Warlock one
I
time.
still have a warlock. That's my Loxodon.
Technically, you could just do that again. You've already got the figure painted.
That's a Loxus.
Yeah.
No, I have a feeling this
I know.
campaign is going to be deadly, so I don't want to put a character in I'm kind of attached to.
Well, you can always just continue using him in the regular campaign that he's from. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have to exist. It's a multiverse
I
here,
guess
you know.
that's true.
And then Wizard.
Yeah, Perrin.
Perrin, yes, that's right. Necromancer. Is that really a wizard?
Yes, it is.
Also,
apparently.
Blood Hunter.
Oh, don't care about that one.
Aha! It's not official, so it doesn't count. Imagine sowing your fields and then it's dark. Yeah, it's that's
You just stand back. You got your hoe, and you're like,
and then just like the shadow. I think part of like when I was falling asleep for my nap after work, because I'm an old man and a baby at the same time, my mind starts doing those like half dreams where I woke up like 10 times from it, just because it was like my mind was like, nah, we don't like this dream, let's start over, let's do something else, you know.
reset. This one's not.
Yeah.
The plot on this one's not very good. So far.
Yeah. This one is just another bullying scenario, Corey.
Okay. You always tell me about your dreams. I'm going to tell about mine
Lol.
on stream.
Old man baby, yes, I am man boy. That is who I am.
My dream last night was dealing with people that were infested by aliens. And you
Okay.
want to know how the indication was that they were infested? If you saw their belly button, there was a little like tube worm creature sticking out about that far, and it was like that big around with a little tiny mouth. It's just the
Goa'uld.
but it was like B grade horror movie, like moving weird and.
Did they talk?
No, they just kind of made a little bit of noise, and
Did you have to like pull one out and then it was way longer than you thought it was?
no, I don't remember the rest of the dream, unfortunately, because my brain is terrible. It's like, you didn't dream last night. It gaslights me. It tells me that I didn't dream, so I forget them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole reason I bring up my multiple beginner dreams is because one of them had like a water elemental looming over me at one point, and then I woke up because I felt a drip on my head. Like literally, I felt a drip on the top of my head, and I woke up and I like touched to make sure that there wasn't like a leak or something happening in the house. But there wasn't. It was just my dream, my stupid brain.
Dodger was just drooling.
Yep.
Wait for you to sleep so he can just lick you.
Yep. I notoriously have the craziest dreams.
So our mother also has very crazy, strange. I'm sure everyone does, but you remember them, and so does she. And I swear that's where you got the.
Don't forget the other side of that head. Looks like there's a little bit missing there.
Yeah. You got that same gene that you could remember.
Yeah.
What's going on in your dreams? I cannot.
It's not always pleasant, but yeah, I just have an overactive imagination.
I wish I could lucid dream. That would be pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to be like, and now I am. Wait, what? What's going on? Sorry. And now I am just. I can spend the next 8 hours doing whatever I want. You know. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. So, what do you guys think in the chat? What sounds cool? Do I do kind of more of a traditional monk? The idea that I had for the traditional like Way of Mercy, Way of the Open Hand was like a monk who was abandoned, a half-orc monk
Yeah.
who was abandoned as a baby on the steps of a monastery
Okay.
and grew up with that, and she has to like. It's the classic like who are my parents kind of thing. But I was kind of gonna play it as a I don't really care because they didn't care about me. But then she like meets her parents anyway, you know. And I was gonna go kind of tropey with that one just because sometimes the old tropes like there's a reason they're tropes. It's because they're good stories, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Mercy or Open Hand, or there's the Dragonborn with the lightning rod, which I again kind of really just like it just because of the whole like my weapon is a lightning rod, you know, and I breathe lightning.
It's a lightning bolt, like in like Zeus's lightning bolt.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. And then
But it's long, like a staff.
long bolt.
Long bolt.
Maybe someday.
Which is just Inspector Gadget.
Yeah. And then of course, so now it would either be the half Fey child with the grinning visage, the jack-o'-lantern, you know, maybe like wicker hands instead of like fiery hands or something like that, or the body is like wicker, right? Or it could be that
or your armor is wicker.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Well, so
would you want your hands to actually be wicker?
No. So what happens when you take the astral form is you start out by just being able to create the astral soul body, which is 6 spectral hands that float around you, and you get to design what they look like.
Style.
Yeah, Zenyatta style.
Okay.
And they don't have to be like attached as arms because they have like a 10-foot reach, so they can like fly around and smack things in the face. And then at level 6, you get the visage. Whenever you activate your form, you can activate the visage too, which is a headpiece that gives you like some wisdom bonuses and different things like that, right? Or like skill bonuses. And then once you hit like I think it's like 11th level, you get the body portion, which covers you fully in the astral body, which looks like whatever you want it to. So that would be like the wicker would be the body, and then there'd be like the flaming hands and the grinning pumpkin head kind of thing. That could be cool. Or I could just do it as the body, the head, and hands make me look more and more like a Hydra.
Yeah.
And that could just be.
I like the idea that the spectral hands are like Hydra heads. Spectral Hydra heads that come up behind you.
Which would be awesome. And then they like fly around and smash into people, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I went with that one, I think I might do a lizard folk for that.
Instead of Dragonborn?
Yeah, if I'm gonna go with the astral soul, I'm gonna go with the lizard folk. Just because like I don't want to have like a breath weapon unless I'm gonna do the ascended dragon, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't feel thematic for me. And that's one of the reasons why I sleep on Dragonborn so much, is because like they have their class and stuff, and then also they have dragon stuff. Like it feels like they have like 2 classes almost.
Sometimes they feel like
sometimes
they need maybe their own specific like only Dragonborn can be this specific class. I understand that like we don't want D&D to boil down to that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could kind of see that being some kind of cool.
Could be could be good to be a lizard folk because I have the bite, which makes my unarmed strike still a 1d6 plus strength slashing instead of the d4 that you start out with the martial die. So I have like a leg up on typical monks, right?
Or well, back to the Dragonborn. Maybe not a specific class, but maybe like every race has thematic or bonus stuff for their class.
Yeah.
You know, so like if you're a Dragonborn and you're a monk, you get this.
Yeah.
If you're a sorcerer, you get this. If you're a you know,
like paladin, you get like a healing breath or something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You can vomit all over your cohorts and heal them up. Wow.
Play away the mercy voodoo stylized monk, full Creole voodoo and voice them like Gambit. Play them more shamanistic and maybe take a dip into Undying Warlock for the fight presence. Not a bad idea. I was actually thinking about seeing if Dallin would be okay if I played a Revenant style character but made them a skeleton, like a full skeleton person, which I think was kind of cool. I do like that. I don't think I don't know if it's appropriate to do the Creole voice or to do like the typical like troll shaman voice. Yeah. I don't know how that goes over these days, but I do like the idea. I know that Way of the Mercy is pretty powerful as far as monks go. But I still like the idea of like the astral soul. I don't know. I might be going with this Hydra one.
Ooh,
We're gonna
was
have
that
to
Joe?
see.
Joe said that, right?
Boss, yeah, no, Brian P said
Brian said that.
kind of mentioned the Hydra thing, so all credit will go to him if that's the case. But I do like the idea. There's just too many characters.
You worship the god Brian P.
Yes, there's too many characters that I want to be because like that monk sounds like an amazing monk, Bosco. Like, if you did want to play a monk again, we could do the whole from the same monastery, and you can go Creole.
Yeah.
I'll let you take the hit on that one.
I'm terrible at voices.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I do like the Way of the Mercy because you get like a stylized mask as part of your healing thing, and it feels very much like a voodoo witch doctor kind of stuff. Obviously, you can't call it voodoo because that's an actual religion these days, so you can't really use that in your fantasy game. Well, I mean, it's a weird kind of gray area, right? Because but I mean, you wouldn't use like Christian as your.
I mean, I would. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you would. That's right. Yeah. Just take unarmed fighting style with a feat or fighter dip to have a decent damage boost for a monk. Yeah, true. But I do like the idea of making it thematic by having this lizard have a connection to Lernia, right? Maybe they drank the blood of a Hydra when they were a baby or something like that, and now they've got a connection to that Hydra. Not to mention, like, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that kind of just goes over the same things that a monk can do. Like the natural armor is your base AC 13 plus your Dex modifier, rather than 12. But I think unarmored defense gives you 12 plus Wisdom plus Dex, which is going to be higher anyway. So natural armor really isn't going to be too fruitful. I do like the holding breath thing, especially if we're going to be in the Underdark, which is, I think, that's where we're starting out at least.
Yeah.
Which could be interesting. Also, lizard folk are natural cannibals, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so they eat other lizard folk.
Yes.
And just eating regular humanoids doesn't make you cannibal.
Yep.
You have to be eating your own race. I've had this
Oh,
argument.
sorry. Yeah, they are humanoid cannibalistic. How about that?
Yeah, they just like eating other humanoids.
Yeah. Typically, that's how you see. So, yeah, that might be what I go for. I don't think I want to. So the unarmored fighting style with a feat. Let me look up the unarmed fighting style. Because I'm not sure what it gives you.
You want to switch it over to the other camera?
Oh, yep, sorry.
See my progress.
Looking really good. I like, I see a spot you missed. Right there. Right there. Right there.
No?
No? Right there?
That's not miss. No, that's
okay.
That's your midtones, highlights, and stuff.
Okay. All right.
Look closely. Look at it up close.
All right. Fine. Very well. Fighting style options.
That's part of the slap chop stuff that I was talking about.
Yeah.
It pre-shades everything, basically.
Unarmed strikes can deal bludgeoning damage. Okay, so unarmed fighting basically gives you... Oh, okay, it gives you a D8.
Instead of a 6?
Yeah, because it says your unarmed strikes can deal bludgeoning damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier on a hit. If you aren't wielding any weapons or a shield when you make the attack roll, the d6 becomes a d8, which that's pretty good. That might be like a level. Well, so that's the thing is like, I'm going to get that eventually, and this campaign is supposed to go until level 15.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll go that long, but
yeah,
we'll have to see.
So, I don't know if I want to dedicate
explain a little bit about the campaign, because I mean, we're just talking about this campaign, and it just might be kind of Greek to a bunch of people. Why we're doing it, what it is, when it's going to be released.
I told him. Well, I told him that Dallin was going to run a campaign for us. We are thinking about releasing it once a couple are under the belt. in the off week,
Yeah.
rather than our typical episodes. So you'll get three weeks of Tales of Aneria, and then 1 week of whatever we just
don't
whatever
count on
yeah.
it though, because that defeats the purpose of our week off to build up a buffer.
Exactly, yeah.
So
It will be a as they are available kind of basis. So
yeah, we're gonna try to do some other episodes of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
not episodes, but other videos about stuff on our off weeks.
now, Bosco, what is the feat that allows you to take a fighting style? Is it just fighter initiate or fighting initiate?
I thought you just took a dip into fighter in general.
I mean, obviously,
2 levels,
yeah.
right?
I'm kind of wanting to do like a full monk though.
Yeah.
Fighting.
I don't blame you. I'm not a huge fan of multi-classing. It's okay sometimes, but sometimes I prefer.
Okay, yeah. So let's see.
I took it for Bolt because I didn't see anything in the 17th, 18th, or the last 4 levels. Last 4 levels? Yeah, last 4 levels of Artificer that really interested me at all.
Yeah. So the fighting initiate feat requires. It basically lets you change that fighting style option every time you get an ASI, which is nice. But so I eventually could change it out. However, it does require me to be proficient with a martial weapon, which monks are not. Monks are only proficient with simple weapons. Yeah. Yeah, so I wouldn't be able to take that at level 1 unless I did a fighter dip right away, which, again, I kind of want to just go straight monk. Like, I kind of just want to be the punchy one.
The punchy one?
Yep. Punchy spice.
Yes.
So yeah, I honestly, I really do like the lizard folk idea, which means like I was gonna do a female character for the campaign.
Yeah.
But I think if I'm gonna do a lizard folk, I think I'm gonna go male. Just because, I don't know, I like the aesthetic more. There are no such thing as lizard females.
Yep. There's no way that there's no lizards that lay eggs or anything, right?
There are races that give martial proficiency. Yeah, true, but I am still thinking about being a lizard folk. And this boils down to like the difference between like Colby and me as far as creating characters go, right? Is he will find a build that is going to be really cool and work his character around that build. Mm-hmm. I will find a character concept that's really cool and
work the build around it
instead, just because I don't like I don't like giving up my aesthetics for anything.
Yeah. Damage smammage.
Yep. Yeah, because I definitely like it does sound like fun to be able to be like, oh yeah, I can do a D8 of damage right away, but at the same time it's kind of like I could also be a lizard folk.
Yeah. I could also hiss all the time.
Maybe I would go crocodilian.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a big crocodilian kind of brawler guy. No, I do a lot of I have a lot more to think about, obviously.
Again, this is very much you've got a lot to decide.
Do you have a race in mind for your character at least?
Not at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Illithid.
Not available. You could do like a Gith Yonki or a Zeri. That's close to illithidness.
Yeah, true. A Gith with a thing in my ear.
Yep. Yeah. Basically, like, yeah, you're gonna end up. I'm sure we are going to have like an illithid encounter or two, if we're gonna be down in the Underdark.
To not spoil any encounters, because I did offer printing services to Dallin. I said they are open. You let me know. I will print whatever you need.
Yep. Which is always I've been thinking about learning how your printer works, just so you don't have to be spoiled on mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
As much.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm pretty good at not metagaming that stuff. Like, I try to think, like, would my character know about this kind of creature, or is it just me that knows about it?
I'm in that middle place between min-max and flavor builds. Which do you lean for when you're creating a character, though? Do you come up with the with the character class concept and build concept, and then make the character around it, or do you come up with a character concept and then try to work a build that fits that concept? Because like for me, that Ascended Dragon Monk, technically the Ascended Soul can do any of the 5 elemental weapons for both their attacks whenever they use them, and for like granting allies resistances at times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I kind of only want to do lightning though, because that is the flavor that I had in mind for this character. You're pulling a tooth. It looked like you were.
Yeah. All right. Stay still. The rest of you, don't bite me.
Being a Hydra dentist would be terrible. No benefits. Yeah, so I've still got a lot to do. I honestly, like, this Lizard Folk Hydra monk is starting to be a little bit more enticing to me.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Lizard Folk they're not typically part of the good races, you know. So I'm not sure how that will go as far as the adventure goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I part of me wants to like not read the Out of the Abyss, but like maybe know the concept behind it.
I'm good not knowing.
But yeah, but I'm also just like, you know what? Like, I know the concept behind most of the modules, so
yeah.
I'd be okay just not knowing what the hell's happening.
Be a lizard folk, but be a gecko. I already played an axolotl person.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's totally
Smoke snag 'em.
Yep, smoke snag 'em. I am the last to build a character whenever I play. I see what the group needs, and I try to build to theme for the niche needed, and I build it to do the role the best of my ability.
I kind of do that a lot of times.
Colby actually does that too.
Yeah.
He waits until everybody else is kind of picked, and then he starts looking at what is still needed and takes one of his hundreds of builds at this point and creates it. Yeah.
Yeah, 60 some odd builds or whatever.
I am liking this color combination. It's looking really good.
Ah, yeah, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at it. Look at him. Look at him.
Look at him.
He's creepy.
Where are the eyes? Where are the eyes, Scott?
They're supposed to be like inset in there, but the resolution's so low that
it's hard to see them.
It's hard to see. I don't know. That they may not get painted. They may just be like they're black eyes. I might just put a dot of black in there and just be like, if you can see him.
So
cool.
if he's green and he has black eyes, does that make him black-eyed peas?
Yes, black-eyed greens.
Except for he's not. He kind of looks like Jolly Green Giant-esque and a little bit like could be a blind Hydra.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Casey.
A blindra.
He's not. He's no longer the Spice Girls. He's Black Eyed Peas.
Which one's Fergie, Corey?
The one I don't like.
That one.
Yeah. Actually, I don't mind Fergie too much. No. Brian says he's never been a player. You've never been a player in a campaign? Forever DM for real?
No, that's sad. I'm sorry, man.
I feel your pain. It took me like a decade to finally play. Like in the actual like longer than one session campaign, bigger than a one shot kind of thing. Yeah, but hopefully you'll be able to get to play someday. That's never fun.
Join our Patreon at the highest level, and we'll do a.
You laugh, but Dallin was suggesting that while you were downstairs a couple weeks ago when we were talking about different things for like membership stuff. Yeah, is having a couple of us run separate like high tier groups online.
Yeah.
And I was like
small adventures and stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Boss says, I've been known to make suboptimal choices as I level to fit the theme. Good. I mean not good. Sorry, that sounds like optimizing is terrible, and that's just a different play style, not the one that I play.
Yeah, you play the way
I play on theme no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also play on theme no matter what as well.
Could also go Yon T if I want to do like a Cloak of the Hydra. and have it just be like a different Yuan-Ti pureblood style, where it's not a serpent that they're going for.
Yeah, Yuan-Ti are also, they're kind of like the evil race too, right?
Yeah, obviously, like typically with the monsters of the multiverse, no race is an evil race that or anything like that anymore. It's just like depending on the multiverse. Don't know.
All right.
Time for the claws.
Claws and teeth.
And the tail tip.
Yeah, and the tail tip.
Because that has a nail on it for some creepy reason.
That's one of those mutations. Hydra mutations. I think I'm just gonna go with like black or near black.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the teeth I'll do in dirty, gross teeth color.
So we didn't get the video that I wanted to put out this week. Unfortunately, it was a very busy week. We had game night on Wednesday. Game night. I said instead of game night.
Game night.
We had game night on Wednesday.
That's after game night.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
That's all private stuff now.
Yeah, every time that I hear like, oh, we'll cut away before anything private happens, and then I have to have a secret conversation with everybody afterwards. It's not fun. That's why I don't romance you anymore.
Yeah.
Never again.
Too awkward.
Blood on the tip of the tail, says Casey. Could be pretty cool.
I could do that.
A couple
some blood.
Blood for the blood god.
Yep.
No, so we had game night on Wednesday, which was really fun. Preston couldn't make it, unfortunately.
He's got the rid or the vid.
The
Rona.
The Rona. Yep. He found out about it the day after. Thankfully, he decided to stay home because his kids hadn't been feeling good, and he started not feeling good. So how's he gets better and recovered, or at least is okay by the time.
I was going to reach out to him today and be like, "Okay, roll call. How you doing? How's your family?"
Well, he did actually message in the new chat for the new campaign.
Oh, okay, so he's still as long as he can type on the computer, he's still the Preston we know.
Yep. At least
did
he can.
He post a meme? Because a meme is
No, he just said I'll take two.
Oh, that's he's not feeling good if he's not memeing.
Quick, somebody call the ambulance. He's not memeing.
The memebulance.
The memebulance. And then Thursday, the reason why we had game night on Wednesday was because last night you and I had a concert to go to.
Yeah.
We went and saw the Longest Johns here in Salt Lake, or not here in Salt Lake, but in Salt Lake City. Yep. We are in.
Insert town here.
Yeah, insert random town here. Kearns.
Thule.
Thule, yep.
Because everyone outside of Utah calls it Thule.
Yep. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. We got to.
We haven't listened to them. They're sea shanty singers.
They're one of the biggest sea shanty bands that at least I know.
They've been going on. They said 10 years.
Yeah, 10 whole years, which is crazy. Joe says I love sea shanties. Yep, so do we. I made my voice ragged and my ears clogged thanks to that concert. And then we got home super late, and I didn't get to bed until like 3 a.m. So that's and then had to wake up at 6.
For lovely, lovely work.
Yep. But hey, I made it the whole day.
That's good.
Even though I didn't do too much.
That's also good.
Yeah. Take a break. Just take a break. Yeah, it was a really fun concert though. I had a lot of fun with that. We got.
I didn't know as much as you did because I hadn't listened to him as much.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I there was more than I expected, honestly. Just as far as like I knew more choruses than I expected.
Yeah.
Things like that because
not to mention
you've been playing around the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're doing laundry or something. Or,
yeah, cleaning up before game night. Because it's a good work song, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole point of sea shanties, is there to get you into a rhythm so that you can work while you're singing.
My friend goes, "Hey, we're past Halloween. We're not yet into Christmas, and so and November is soup season." That's what she said.
Soup
season.
Okay.
And then there's one day of Thanksgiving, but we don't have Thanksgiving songs because that's dumb. She's like, we need more songs about soup. So I said, well, sea shanties are basically singing about earth soup.
Yeah.
The sea.
The sea, yep. It's shanty month, everyone.
Yes. It is shanty month.
Yep. What is the most bizarre character you have ever made before with the most bizarre character theme and playstyle? I don't think I've made anything super bizarre. I've had the concept for a duality character that is levels in Rogue and levels in Beast Barbarian. That's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde ish one. And maybe one day Jean Dupont will be presented to the world, but
he's never presentable.
He for now he has not been created. But it would be an interesting concept to play. Like basically, when I go into my rage, I'm losing a lot of my rogue abilities, right? Mm-hmm. So I have to like balance like how will I make this work, and is it going to be a good build or is it just going to be crazy?
Let's see. Bolt was originally a Warforged monk, now Warforged artificer, which I think fits better as far as theme goes. Let's see. Barissa, she was a beast barbarian that had one half of her face and her left arm was a big demonic arm.
Yeah.
And it's because of
a curse.
Well, so she the backstory was she got captured by a cult because she was an orphan when she was a teenager, and they tried to sacrifice her by having a demon or a demon lord inhabit her body, and it started to work, and she started to change, and then a paladin came in and defeated the cult and rescued her, but was unable to cure that, and so because of that, she had to spend most of her life wearing a cloak all the time, and the concept was that when her rage is basically her losing control of her body a little bit and doing extra damage with the arm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then going Beast Barbarian helped because I took Spider Climb a lot and then the tail attack or whatever, and it just kind of made it creepy. Like here's a girl with a big gnarled 3-fingered arm with claws and spider climbing on the ceiling to get to you, like creepy demon stuff. And then the other weird one was I was thinking of I guess Holoxus is kind of weird. He's like a
Loxodon obsessed with the Eldritch.
Yeah, he's a Loxodon obsessed with like the old gods, Eldritch, the unknown, basically. I mean, he's got a trunk, he's got his own tentacle. So.
Yeah, I mean, I also have I created a character that in that same game with Holoxus that is a 1-level bard, 2-level barbarian.
Yeah.
Or no, 2-level bard, 1-level barbarian, and he was like a Goliath that was trying to be what his family wanted, and then ended up finding out that he had magical talent inside of him, kind of thing. Let's see. Started listening to sea shanties because of Assassin's Creed Black Flag, so I get to say the annoying hipster thing. I was into them before they were popular.
No, you weren't.
Oh.
1600s, 1500s.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
You're not hipster enough for them old guys.
Come on, they've been popular for hundreds of years.
And then Teely said, "Beat you, Joe. I whitened the Renaissance Fair decades ago. Sea shanties got you through the day." Yeah. All right. Yeah. Nice.
I've never been to a Renaissance Fair.
I'd like to go sometime.
I want to, but I need to have a good costume, I think. Or I feel like I should.
You don't actually need a costume to go to the Red Fair.
But I would want one.
In fact, I think up until probably about a couple years ago, it was common practice not to go in costume.
Yeah.
I don't know too much. Yeah, I don't know too much about Ren fairs though, so I could just be mistaken.
I could do the classic joke, dress up as Star Trek, going and seeing the lower life forms type of deal,
Yep. Except for that's not how Starfleet would act. They would dress up the part.
Dress up, exactly, yeah.
And then you just wear it under your lapel.
Yep, exactly.
Because there was that one post where the guy's like, I dressed up.
What are you doing?
You're
or you're breaking the Prime Directive. I've been here for months doing
Section 31,
Yeah, doing work.
Colby made a pretty cool soul knife rogue / beast barbarian. Rage doesn't prohibit rogue stuff according to his build. Oh, maybe I have that wrong. I know I wanted to take some warlock dip in there too because of Jean Dupont's particular backstory. So, but I don't know. I have to see. Sorry, I was in an Overwatch comp game. Yeah, I'd never been a player. My players all suck at storytelling. They're getting better, but they aren't super imaginative. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes that's just the group, right? Is they have one person who's like really good at it, and the other people are just kind of like, we'll just let you do it then.
Yeah.
You know, I've been lucky to have a group that most of them at least have interest or a little interest or active interest in like DMing and coming up with their own stories. So that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're keep trying to get Colby to DM.
One of my past DMs let me make 2 character sheets of different classes for the same character. Each had vastly different personalities and made them 2 characters in the same body. I do like that too. I like that kind of personality shift, you know, and that would be a really interesting thing to play or to have as a character arc, for sure. So, are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done with this Hydra?
I'm done.
Let's take a look. You want to put that blood on the tip of the tail?
I might do that later. I usually seal it first because
Okay.
Blood for the Blood God is shiny paint.
Okay.
So I clear coat it with matte, and if it's got that on that, then it doesn't look very good.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. What do you think? I'm thinking like this is like a swamp hydra. It's living in the swamp.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
Yeah.
Like it's a marshland Hydra for sure, and it looks like its like back is like moss, almost,
Yep,
right?
Almost. Yep.
Like it's been just covered in that ugly grime that is awesome, but is still kind of ugly.
All right, on to number 2.
Yeah,
Number 2 vote.
technically,
Right? Is that number 2 vote?
It's unless
did
people have been voted on.
All of a sudden, the troll's number 1 again.
Yep. Nope. The owlbear is still number 2. Number 2. So, yeah, we can get it started. Actually, it shouldn't be too bad. Hello. What the Enco? Enchko?
What the Yenko?
What the Yenchko? Aloha to you too. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have just finished painting a Hydra, classic D&D monster, classic mythological creature from Greek.
Voted on by our not Patreon, by our Discord.
Yeah, wonderful people on Discord. It is the dankest Swass Hydra.
He needs would he wear shorts like this or like this?
It's both.
Depending on the day.
Well, first time saying the name, not bad. Okay, yeah,
Sorry.
We're-
butcher it.
I'm always
So,
terrible.
The
with
problem
that.
I'm having with it is there's no capitals, so I'm not seeing what is
Yeah.
the next word. Right? Is it what they or what the?
Yeah,
Right?
I think it's what the Yenko.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What the Yenchko?
Yenchko. Yen. From underneath.
Yeah. What's a Yenchko? Is that like a specific
Yeah.
creature or something?
Like to learn. So owlbears,
Yeah.
also really cool. This one shouldn't take you too long either.
No, this is just going to be some fur color
Yeah.
and beak color, and boom, done.
Let me pull up the owlbear stuff though.
Yeah.
Gotta talk about it. Because I do like
This
this.
is one of the reasons I like the classic D&D monsters too, is because a lot of them are not super detailed,
Yeah,
and not just the sculpts. But
you're
like
doing
the
it wrong
fur.
though. Technically, you're supposed to have pink fur, or purple fur.
I like brown though.
Yeah, brown owlbears are great.
I have other owlbears I can
Yep.
paint. I can do one of purple fur.
Oh, yench like wrench. What the yenchko?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. So a monstrous cross between a giant owl and a bear. An owlbear's reputation for ferocity and aggression makes it one of the most feared predators of the wild. An owlbear's screech echoes through dark valleys and benighted forests, piercing the quiet night to announce the death of its prey. Feathers covered in thick, cover the thick, shaggy coat of its bear-like body, and the limpid pupils of its great round eyes stare furiously from its owlish head. The owlbear's reputation for ferocity and aggression, stubbornness, and sheer ill temper makes it one of the most feared predators of the wild. There is little, if anything, that a hungry owlbear fears. Even monsters that outmatch an owlbear in size and strength will avoid tangling with it, for this creature cares nothing about a foe's superior strength as it attacks without provocation. So they are very much like the animal of screw you, I'm going to attack you anyway. It doesn't matter if you're an ogre or a giant.
It's a Canada goose.
Yeah,
It's a Canada Goose.
Canada Gooses. Hydra looks brilliant. 6 out of 5 stars. Ooh, 6 out of 5 stars. Can we cut those stars in half and then they'll grow new stars?
Well, they were 5 out of 5, and then someone took one away. Now they're 6 out of 5. Hence the Hydra score.
So owlbear is overrated. 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 Saw a few owlbears minis in a client's cubicle. She had one painted traditional brown, but one of them was a beautiful polar bear snow owl.
Oh, I've seen that, like snowy owl, barn owl.
There is actually a polar owlbear as well in like Rime of the Frost Maiden, because of course there would be. Yeah, it would be really cool.
Really cool.
And we have multiple different owlbears that we've printed.
I have
the unofficial.
I have an official WizKids one. I think is WizKids or something.
Yeah.
But it came missing the beak, and it's supposed to be a glue-in piece, which dumb.
Yes.
So I've got to either sculpt one, or he's gonna have a kind of a bloody scar where the beak used to be type of thing. This one was one of my first Brisson prints, actually.
Yeah, it looks really good. Polar owlbear equals spirit monstrosity. Yeah, kind of like a animal spirit. Honestly, we've been talking about this. Owlbears shouldn't be monstrosities.
Yeah, I kind of like them better as beasts
because they're not monstrous enough for D&D anymore, right? Like they literally don't have anything that makes them anything other than I'm a bear and I just happen to have a beak, right? They don't have any like special abilities.
They do have a kind of a lighter colored underbelly, right?
Yeah. Actually, no. It looks like it's pretty much the same for all the way around. If you want to underbelly it, you can, but at least this one is pretty much the same. Come on, fight me. I didn't hear no bell, says the owlbear.
Yeah. Oh, look up the tactics book. Does that have anything about? Does it say anything about owlbears?
Actually, we'll get to that in a moment here. We got more to talk about.
Oh, okay. We'll start attacking.
An owlbear emerges from its den around sunset and hunts into the darkest hours of the night, hooting and screeching to declare its territory, to search for a mate, or to flush prey into its hunting grounds. These are typically forests familiar to the owlbear and dense enough to limit the quarry's escape routes. An owlbear makes its den in a cave or ruined litter with the bones of its prey. It drags partially devoured kills back to its den, storing portions of the carcass among the surrounding rocks, bushes, and trees. The scent of blood and rotting flesh hangs heavy near an owlbear's lair, attracting scavengers and thus luring more prey. Owlbears hunt alone or in mated pairs. If quarry is plentiful, a family of owlbears might remain together for longer than is required to rear offspring. Otherwise, they part ways as soon as the young are ready to hunt.
Yeah, that sounds like typical bear behavior. And...
Although they are more intelligent than most animals, owlbears are difficult to tame. However, with enough time, food, and luck, an intelligent creature can train an owlbear to recognize it as its master, making it an unflinching guard or a fast and hardy mount. Like, they specifically talk about owlbear mounts in the D&D Monster Manual, which is awesome. People of remote frontier settlements have even succeeded at racing owlbears, but spectators bet as often on which owlbear will attack its handler as they do on which will reach the finish line first.
Fuzzy, come on. Focus. Focus.
Focus.
Stupid camera.
I prefer your print, honestly, Scott, to the one from WizKids.
Yeah, they're. I like the WizKids like action pose a little bit. But yeah, I think this one probably has the more. This one's scarier, right? It has the more like. I'm gonna pounce on you.
Yeah. And then Joe said he really liked that we had the Court of Night / Baba Yaga representing monstrosities like the owlbear. Agreed. I thought it was nice to be able to have a representation for them because they technically are creatures in nature still, despite their origins. Yeah. They do.
They may have been unnaturally created, but they still exist.
Yeah,
right? They're still alive.
Be back soon, Joe says. Have to train out the black tank. Okay. Good luck. Elven communities encourage owlbears to den beneath their treetop villages, using the beast as a natural defense during the night. Hobgoblins favor owlbears as war beasts, and hill giants and frost giants sometimes keep them as pets. A starved owlbear might show up in a gladiatorial arena, ruthlessly eviscerating and devouring its foes before a bloodthirsty audience. So, scholars have often long debated the origin of the owlbear. The most common theory is that a demented wizard created the first specimen by crossing a giant owl with a bear. However, venerable elves claim to have known these creatures for thousands of years, and some Fae insist that owlbears have always existed in the Feywild.
So if they've always existed, then they wouldn't be monstrosities, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It seems like they should be listed as beasts. Actually, I think that the Monsters Know What They're Doing book specifically does not have owlbears.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the ones that he mentions when he is talking about monsters not having tactics, you know?
Yeah.
And the owlbear is one of those. Oh, he does have something here, though.
Hand me my work phone, would you? Let me see if it's actual work or if it's... Sorry, guys. I'm on call. Be right back.
Woo.
And we're back.
And we're back. Sorry about that.
We're called...
Yeah, Bosco left while we were gone. He said he was going to go be a boyfriend. So,
Okay.
good for him. He's watching this VOD. You did good, kid. Kid. I can't call people kid, can I?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I don't know.
The older you get, the more
That's
people
true.
you can call kid.
Oh, he's still here. 'Tis my solemn duty to help the future wifey. Agreed. It is indeed required. So there is a little bit on owlbears here. From, once again, The Monsters Know What They're Doing from Keith Amon. Wonderful tactics book.
Yes.
A classic, or a D&D classic, the owlbear is a creature of grizzly bear-like size, shape, and temperament with an owl-like head. Its high constitution, extremely high strength, and relatively low, though still above average dexterity, places it in the brute category, which means its preferred fighting style will be direct assault. Owlbears are dumb, intelligence 3, and won't prioritize one target over another. They're not stealthy, but they're also hard to fool with stealth, having proficiency in perception and advantage on perception checks based on sight or smell. They're fast as well, able to outrun most player characters. Finally, they have standard dark vision, so we can assume that they are active primarily at night or underground, which was explained in the monster manual. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
An owlbear encountered in its lair during the daytime hours will be sleeping or at least resting, though the presence of other creatures may wake it up. Owlbear tactics aren't sophisticated. An owlbear that senses prey dashes after it if it's more than 80 feet away, the noise of which will prevent it from surprising its quarry. Between 40 and 80 feet away, it moves 40 feet towards its target, then readies the claws action against the first creature that comes within reach. At less than 40 feet away, it charges in and multi-attacks, each multi-attack consisting of a claw attack followed by a beak attack. The owlbear single-mindedly attacks the first target it senses until it's struck by a melee attack, in which case it switches its focus to the last opponent who deals melee damage to it. It doesn't understand ranged weaponry. Trained owlbear, such things apparently exist, can be commanded to keep attacking a specific target, but I'd apply a check similar to that for maintaining concentration on a spell. A wisdom check with a DC of 10 or half the damage inflicted by a different melee opponent, whichever is greater. On a failure, it reverts to instincts and attacks the foe who just wounded it rather than the one it was commanded to attack. If it fails by 5 or more, it turns against its handler, which is great.
I like that.
Yep. In open wilderness, an owlbear flees when it's seriously wounded, reduced to 30 or 23 hit points or fewer. If it's cornered in an enclosed space, however, it keeps fighting to the death. If an owlbear in the wilderness reduces one of its opponents to 0 HP, and no one hits it with a melee attack before the start of its next turn, it seizes the unconscious foe in its beak and dashes back to its lair with them. It doesn't do this in an enclosed space or if it's in its lair already.
What color of eyes should I do?
I mean, obviously, like, the typical is yellow, right? That's typically your owl eye is yellow, but opinions.
Yellow
please.
with like a black pupil.
Yeah.
I got the yellow out already. That's the color of his beak.
Mm-hmm. We actually we have yellow or red. This is Casey. Red could be a good kind of berserker, or even green. Let me go see if I can find the other owlbear that you've done already, the armored one.
Oh, okay.
Because
I think it's got yellow.
Yeah, we'll compare.
Yeah.
A trained owlbear, you say?
Yeah, a trained owlbear. Yeah, I like yellow eye, but sometimes black eyes and stuff. I guess I gotta do the claws too. I'll do some black claws. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like bear claws in real life, but some of them are like 8-10 inches long. It's basically steak knives. It's pretty wild. Which makes sense if you compare this guy to the size of another mini. That's pretty big. That's a claw's almost as big as Bolt's fist. Yeah. Lime green? That's not bad. That's not bad. I have like a green that I use for really crazy magical effects called warp lightning. That's pretty cool. I think green might be the way to go, though. Let's see. Pull some paints out. I got a couple options here. We got like poisonous cloud. That's kind of more towards the yellow. Jungle green is pretty green. Kraken skin is kind of like almost a green with a little hint of blue in it. What other greens do I have? Snake scales green. That's a little darker. Yeah, I don't know. And then I've got warp lightning, which is I'll show you on the board. That's that one right there, and it's pretty green. It's not lime green though. Let's see what jungle green looks like. Mix it up a little bit. Which one is pretty cool, Casey? The warp lightning. Oh, hi, Shep. Hi, Cory with a beard. And floppy ears. I know what you want, huh? Yeah. Crunchy dog noises. On camera.
I can't find it.
Ooh, this is pretty,
Hey, get down.
That's pretty cool. Dealey says, lime green.
Lime green.
First two.
Yeah.
Poisonous cloud, lime. Cool.
Heterochroma.
I could do heterochroma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I can't find your other owlbear. The armored one. I have no idea where it is. I checked every monstrosity and beast box that we have.
It might be in the humanoid box.
You think so?
Yeah. Or it's gone. I don't know.
We'll have to find it. That one was more of like an orange and black, like feathered owl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lighter color. So I've got like these two colors. Yeah, the owlbear's loose in the house.
It's loose in the house, yes. Luckily, it's tiny.
Yeah. That's kind of a cool green.
Try. I like that, yeah.
Try that. Let's do that.
Time for the delicate work. Nobody bump him. Nobody accidentally donate to chat and bump him.
Yeah, whole chair shakes. That's what it's hooked up to.
What kind of other streams are you doing that your whole chair vibrates when you get?
Don't want to know.
I obviously don't.
I will tell you, I am solidly in the negatives as far as money goes. So it costs more to make the chair thing than I ever get in donations.
I like having an owlbear as like a guard beast sounds like a really cool time.
Well,
for
that's
sure.
why my one character had a runt boulette, like the runt of the litter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Boulette as a pet, and I just played him. He just got played as like a dog, right?
Yeah. There's some really cool owlbear stuff in Kings of the Wild, a book series that you should check out.
So good.
It is a really good series, and it's basically about a band of old adventurers getting back together for one last adventure to save one of their like kids, right?
Yeah.
And the whole system for the fantasy world is basically like the adventurers are all popularized, and they're called bands.
Yeah.
Literal band, like
They tour the countryside and fight monsters.
In arenas and things like that. Like they're pretty much like celebrity bands, and they all have very heavy metal names, right? Like Screaming Dragon Hawks or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I kind of want to see what a goose owlbear would look like now. A Canada goose.
Miguel Zavala did a goose hydra.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a full size hydra with goose heads. And
Has somebody
goose
done it?
wings.
Has somebody done it? There's a baby owlbear.
Corey, check those out.
Oh wow, I like that.
I am gonna do. I'll do like black pupils, but what do you think?
It almost looks like it's blind as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
It looks like the owl from Secret of Nim.
I don't.
His name
know
is
that one.
Casey. What's his name again?
I don't know. Secret of Mim.
Secret of Mim.
Mim.
Nimh. It's
Nimmo.
Nicodemus. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's her sister's cat's name.
Yeah.
You could have just said that. I would have known the name.
Well, I don't know the. Oh, he's not an owl. Sorry, he is not an owl. He's just a rat, but he has these eyes. Like he's got the glowing green eyes. He's
That makes sense.
yeah, he's not an owl. Casey's remembering that she named her owl Nicodemus in World of Warcraft right now, and it's completely wrong. There is an owl in Secret of Nim, yes.
But you can name any pet Nicodemus. That's okay.
Who also has the same eyes, by the way, and he is just called the Great Owl.
The animators were just like, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. But I mean, look at the eyes; they kind of have that same glow, and you can look it up on Google if you just search the Great Owl Secret of Nim.
He also part times as the owl that gives Link his sword.
Yeah,
shield.
that movie is pretty good. You know what book series I actually wanted to read when I was younger, but didn't, and I might end up, depending on if I get time, is the Redwall series.
Oh yeah.
Because I was always interested in like the concept of like mouse fighters and whatnot, kind of thing, and
I never read that one.
Yeah,
I know I have seen a lot of people that have read it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the ground that he's on is probably gonna be
move it in the camp.
So it's got some rocks. I'll do. I'm thinking the rest of it's gonna be kind of like a dirt color. Yeah,
a deer tay.
A deer take.
Yep.
But I don't really have a good dirt color. Well, I lied. I got plenty of paints. But I don't have a quick and easy dirty one. How about that?
Somebody remind me next Friday. I'm gonna see if I can get Preston to draw a goose owlbear, a Canada goose owlbear.
Canada gooses.
Yep.
You can't eat while I'm eating.
Finish quickly, please. I am hungry. This delicious. By the way, snack of choice tonight. They are Cheez-It Grooves, the Cheddar Ranch. Is what they're called.
Yes.
I don't know if anybody ever had Munchums as a kid.
They were octagon or
Yeah,
hexagon?
they were like a hexagon or an octagon shaped cracker, and these taste exactly the same as those. Mm.
That was too blue.
Redwall was great, very informative to a 14-year-old, taught me more than school did at the time. Honestly, there are a lot of like different vocabulary words that I learned specifically from books. Or World of Warcraft.
Like what?
Things like obstinance or
List all the words you know. No, go.
every single word.
Go. All the
Yeah.
words. List
No,
10
like-
words. Go.
Any
Go.
10 words?
Go. Yes.
Any 10 words? I don't think I can write off.
You said I like multiple times. I don't think I can't count twice.
The bat.
Okay, I set the bar too low. That's on me.
Yeah. Yeah, I read the Sword and Sorcery series, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
Let's see. The Word in the Way? No. Belgarian. I remember Belgarian is one of the character names because that was your first. That was my first WoW character. Yep. The Belgariad is what the series is called. The Pawn of Prophecy and the Magician's Gambit, Queen of Sorcery, etc., etc.
Okay.
So and it was really cool because the whole magic system was called the Word in the Way, and basically you had to, or the will in the word or something like that, and you had to will something to happen and then speak a command word in order to make it happen. And at one point, like one of the characters who had been learning this magic from a wizard concentrated and then he just said door to create a door.
Yeah.
And another wizard that was with the mentor looks over at him and kind of cocks an eyebrow and says door, and he goes, he's still young and learning, he's still using the simple phrases kind of thing.
Yeah.
As if there was like a more acceptable adult way to say that magic word,
door,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That also had one of my favorite quotes.
Don't say it, sexy door.
Sexy door. Door after dark. Red door.
Dora the
it's just
Explorer.
red door is what it is.
Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, but my favorite quote from that series is one that I've kept with me is, I always expect the worst because when the worst doesn't happen, I'm then pleasantly surprised. That always stuck with me as obviously I'm not a pessimistic person, but I do plan for the worst all the time and then go, that's a lot easier than I thought,
Well, a lot of times you don't plan for it. Anxiety or whatever gets in the way, and then suddenly it's like, I've been putting this off for so long.
Yeah.
And I just went and did it. Oh, that was easy.
Mm-hmm.
It only took me 10 minutes to do whatever I was planning on doing.
Yeah, the joys of anxiety.
Mm-hmm. I do it too. I do it at work all the time.
Yeah.
Put off tickets and put off work for days and days, and then finally I'm like, I should really do this. And I get down
and you're like, oh,
15 minutes later, it was all done. I'm like, oh, really? That's all.
Could have been.
Oh my gosh.
Could have been that easy. Yeah.
Okay, there's the base. Just kind of a quick brownish green on the base.
Yeah.
Some rocks. I do need to get his claws though.
These beasts are always really easy to do, right?
Yeah.
They're always very simple.
I like it though.
Creatures.
It's kind of nice. It's kind of a nice change of pace versus a humanoid that's got a million pouches and buckles. Colby.
He does love to do that for sure.
He loves his buckles.
Yeah.
But yeah. So. Okay.
Very cool. So
last but not least is eyes, and
Oh,
eyes
yes.
are terrible. So what I ended up doing is I bought a pack of markers, and one of them is a .05 super fine tip marker, black marker, and this is what I used to do pupils because I could never get them done.
do you want to do them like owl? Do owls have a different eye slit?
No, they have just big round ones.
That's right. They don't have like the.
Yeah. But I could never get them done very well with paintbrush. So if I bought the pen. Sorry, I'm distracted by.
I mean, some owls just don't look like they have pupils at all.
They're just black eyes.
Yep, they just have black eyes. But like ones like the great horned that have the yellow eyes definitely do. I love the internet is amazing because when it first started, like when you first start using the internet, or at least when we did as kids, obviously, like I don't know about kids who have grown up their entire lives with the internet, but like we didn't have it. So like when Google first started happening and you could like start searching for stuff and you could just type in owl to search for a picture of an owl, it was amazing, right? Because there would be a whole bunch of pictures that people had taken. And we take it for granted a lot these days because like the things that we search for are a lot more specific. Hoot growl is what
Hoot growl.
Hoot growl. But like I just typed in owl and brought up a whole bunch of pictures of really cool owls, and I just went. Sometimes it's lovely not to have to load Encarta 98 to look at owls.
You used to have to
information.
go buy the CDs that had the encyclopedias, or go to someone's house that had a whole collection of encyclopedias. And granted, they were probably like 20 years old at that point.
Yeah,
because they bought them, 15, 20 years ago, and they were horribly out of date. But now the internet actually keeps that all up. But Wikipedia is one of the best things. To
honestly,
learn stuff.
It always boggled my mind that that teachers ever were like, oh, Wikipedia is not a good place to get your information because people can just edit it whenever. It's like, no, it's a great place to start though.
Yeah,
like
it links you to stuff pretty much all the time.
Like you can use it to link to references, and then you can.
That's because they didn't understand the internet.
Yeah,
they still may not understand it.
That's true. Yeah.
So, gotta do the last thing though.
Oh, what is the last thing?
What is the last thing?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, painting the base.
Yep. The base.
You paint the bottom as well?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Usually not though, because it's usually already black from whatever I primered. If it's got some stuff on it, then I'll go over it again.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I have enjoyed painting some classic monsters and talking about them and their tactics, right? Like I definitely like this as a concept too. That's doing like videos, just talking about the different stuff, and obviously like
maybe we should do some extra side videos or something, or do a channel that's all dedicated to sprucing up your monsters and making them more dangerous.
Yeah, and obviously like it wouldn't be.
That sounds interesting to you guys.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be I'm gonna read you the description from the monster manual, and then I'm gonna read you Keith Amon's
custom
like
homebrew stuff.
I would do like customized. Here's a couple things that would be really cool to add.
Stat blocks,
some stat block things,
some art or something.
And I would also do a lot more research into like the history and some cool like owlbear moments or something like that in different stuff. I'm very excited for the D&D movie that's coming out that has the druid that can wild shape into an owlbear, which I think is
awesome,
amazing. Yep. But yeah, we are getting close to the end of the stream.
Yeah, we are.
Two
models done.
Two models down.
It's been a long time since I finished a model on stream.
If you got a little bit of time left, just work on Gerard over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Oh, here. Sorry. But I think that's a successful owlbear. What I like about this one is not only could it be used as a regular owlbear, but it could be used as a stuffed owlbear, right?
Oh, yeah. Like it's someone's reliquary.
Yep.
Not reliquary. What do they call that when you display a bunch of stuff in a room?
A gallery.
Yeah, gallery. That's
yeah. It's kind of like a hunting lodge thing too, right? Because like most owlbears are like on the ground or kind of in an action pose like that, but that one, like that's the typical stuffed bear pose, is always up in the air,
Also, I need one to print out an owlbear rug. Like a bear rug, but it's an owlbear.
Yep.
An owlbear
I mean
rug.
that you probably do have like a bearskin rug.
Yeah, I think someone might have made one.
But you could just chop the head off of an owlbear model and
that's true.
Stick it on there.
Stick it on.
Yep. Mr. Rex gives a lot of lore about monsters and classic D&D. Yeah, I love that kind of concept of having like really cool lore that while like there's a paint video going on or something like that. So yeah.
You know, we've thought about doing that, recording paint job of something and then doing a story or lore over the top of it, like voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I think that's good. You have some things that you need to do in your professional life, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So we'll have to
work related stuff.
Yeah, I think we're okay to
cut it just a few minutes
yep,
short.
A few minutes short here. Thanks everybody for joining us. We really do appreciate you guys hanging out with us on Friday. I know Friday evenings are typically like a really big day where a lot's going on.
Spend time with your family and stuff, but videos always available.
Yeah, don't forget to like give it a comment and a like after the video is posted. If you feel so inclined, subscribe to the channel. Everybody on Twitch, we are over on YouTube as Tales of Aneria.
Comments down below after it's done.
Yeah, and join our Discord too, because we had the poll up this week for which monster to do, and I think like next time we might try and take like some suggestions, or we might have a few different monsters available. We'll take the 2 off that we got completed, and then throw some more on there.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll throw some humanoids into the mix because we didn't do that tonight, like some gnolls or something like that. And yeah, you have a good night too, and we will see you next Friday with hopefully another art stream.
Yeah,
if Preston is feeling up to it.
Again. If not, we'll be back painting.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.